It's the way that this entire month just like zoomed by. We go dum 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 dum. Hey YouTube, it's me Christiana. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to When in Doubt Pink. This is my June life wrap up. If you're new here, hi, my name is Christiana. I am a girly living in Philly, working my 9 to 5 life. It's really not a 9 to 5. What the fuck? Who am I? PD pub motherfucker. If you're new here, hi, I'm Christiana. I am a girly living my 30s in Philadelphia with my cat named Baby. Right, Baby? That's right. You know, it really wasn't that hard to like work on call and response with her. Anyway, okay, so yeah, so this is my June wrap up. Like I said, I'm just gonna read the categories. I think some of these we're gonna skip over, definitely, because you know, I know y'all get tired of me saying it, but your girl has been working, all right? And so I have stuff for a lot of these categories, but not everything, or maybe might not be as like jam-packed as usual, you know? But I thought that we could chat while I take my braids out, because that's what's happening. I'm in my living room. I normally would set up in front of my makeup mirror, but we're not doing no makeup today. I'm exhausted, all right? We're gonna take these braids out because the one thing I really wanna do is wash and scrub my scalp, period. So the categories, community highlights, mental health check-in, things that brought me joy in the month of June. Baby, please stop. Challenges and goals, beauty, music, books, TV shows and movies, pop culture chatter, trends and internet memes, and the tea on me, of course. Gotta be telling my own business. So I don't have any community like highlights or announcements, so I think I'll just move into the like mental health check-in. And honestly, you know, I'm doing pretty good. Like I always say, like, summer is my favorite season. I flourish, okay, just like the flowers outside. I flourish during the summer, you know. And honestly, it's like, even despite all the chaos that has been like going on around me, I am doing quite well. I also kind of feel like I just generally have a lot to look forward to. You know, like when things are really bad, if you're someone who suffers with depression or anxiety or any of those kinds of things, right? Mental health things, right? Sometimes you can get to a point where you like stop even being able to acknowledge the things you have to be grateful for, the things that are going well. Sometimes it can be really hard to see that stuff when you're going through it, you know? And I am in a period right now where I can see and acknowledge and feel grateful and thankful and all the things that are in front of me, what is to come. I'm also super ready to like soak up some sun, okay? I haven't had a chance to really do that yet. I haven't been to the beach yet, but it's coming. You better know it, it's coming. I think I'm also just feeling really soothed at the fact that I feel like, you know, my basic needs in life are being met. Most of them, the ones that matter. We'll get into some things later, but you know, your girl's doing well. I have to be really careful now when I cut my braids because my hair grows like a weed. And when the girl was braiding me up, she was like, yo, you can't even hardly cut these. And I was like, yeah, I know. I literally can only really cut the ends to be like the safest. Things that brought me joy in the month of June. I feel like I got to see a lot of people this month that I haven't seen in a while. You know, I had a really big like work conference that my department that I work in was putting on, and that like definitely put me in position to see a lot of people that I haven't seen in years, because maybe they live in a different part of the country or whatever it is, you know. And so that was really just nice. Even before we had our convention, the week before, one of my most favorite people came to town, and he stayed in town and like went out to get drinks with us, and we were like catching up. And I love friendships that feel like no matter how old we get, no matter how many kids y'all decide to make with your partners and stuff, like we're still gonna be friends, and it's still gonna feel like it did in the old days. Like, you know, and like obviously things have changed, you know, but like I love having people who, like, knowing that people value their friendships means a lot to me, especially as somebody who you know, is child free. Knowing that like my friends still value my friendship despite the fact that they're growing their own families and stuff, like that stuff is really important. I also got to catch up with my very best friend, Byron. Even just last night we were chatting and catching up, and that's another one of those friendships where, like, you know, I've been friends with Byron since I was in beauty school. I went to beauty school in 2011, and we're still kicking it. We are still kicking it, and I'm really thankful for that too, because there are a lot of friends that are not kicking it with me no more, by my own choice or by their choice. Byron is still here, you know, and I really enjoyed talking to him last night. I've really been in deep need of like just connecting with my friends, and I think I said this a couple months ago, and it just, you know, it wasn't really happening. And I think, you know, I could do a better job even still at connecting with friends, but just even having a little bit of it this month meant a lot to me. Going back to what I was saying just before about like how I'm feeling like a lot of my like basic needs are being met, you know, again, feeling a lot of gratitude, like my bills are paid, there's food in my refrigerator, like gas in my car, like just like all these things. I have a car. Like just, you know, feeling all I'm just feeling this moment of gratitude. But like also, you know what they say when you're on an airplane is like, help yourself first before you like proceed to try to help the person next to you. I'm just like breaking up, like after I take my braids out, I always try to like make sure I'm like breaking it up a little bit, because you know those little, like how you get the little like lint balls at the base of your hair, and if you're not careful and break that shit up when you go to like wet it or wash it, you're like in for trouble. So I always try to like just break it up a little bit. Anyway, I'm feeling like I also have more capacity to help other people around me, which also helps me to feel really good. It's also bringing me a lot of joy. Helping people to get new opportunities, pitching people to other people that I know and trying to get them opportunities, even if they don't all come through, but I'm doing that because I feel like I have capacity to do that for other people right now. I went dress shopping with my other friend the other day, and we went to like Nordstrom. You know, she got a little bit more change in her pocket than me. But we went to Nordstrom, and we went to Zara, and we even went to H&M. We didn't find anything in there. But you know, I was like pulling all these like dresses and stuff and making her try them on, and we just had so much fun. Like that was the most fun I had in a long ass time. It was, I guess this was like a month of friendship, just a bit. Like a month of friendship. I feel good about that. Can you believe I'm at armpit? What the fuck? Like and y'all probably get tired of me talking about this, but I just be shocked that like literally I had a chin bob the other day. Fuck. Anyway, okay, so let's get into challenges and goals. So like I was just saying, this month my organization had a really big convention that happens like every 5 years or something like that, and the communications department is in charge of like making it exist. And this was my first time like being a part of putting this event together, and it was for a lot of people like on my team, and it was really successful, really amazing, and really inspiring, and I felt like a fucking rock star, you know. It really feels like it's my season at work right now, because even just like for this convention, I produced 3 videos that were shown there, put together like this interactive program for the convention itself, with full programming, trainings, and things that people could do while they were there. I designed a mural, like a community mural, basically like pictures of all of our, not all, but like a lot of members from different places around our organization, and like put them in black and white in a not like I made them like a drawing basically, and we got like tons of markers and asked people to like color in the faces and the people and sign their names to this mural. And I was scared that people weren't going to do it, you know, but people participated way more than I expected, and now I know for the future, because there's a lot of things with that I would have probably done differently had I even thought that people would want to participate, and everybody did. I designed a button. I wish it was around because I would show that to y'all, but I designed a button that people were able to win for doing like different activities that we had. And I'm sure there was some other stuff, but like you know, it was very stressful. Like I haven't been this stressed out in a while, you know, but it was also a ton of fun, and I just like felt a lot of pride being able to produce all of that stuff, and also being able to like lead a team, because it was up to me to like lead this whole team of people so that they could like push my vision into like a real thing, you know. It was a really cool and beautiful experience. I also had to deal with some fear, right? The challenges, like I am not a public speaker. You probably can't tell because, you know, it's just me and you all the time, right? But I am like a deeply introverted person with like antisocial tendencies, right? And I know exactly where I get that from. My mom is exactly the same way. It's heavy on the antisocial, even more than me, and she would say that to you. I'm not like talking trash, but when they told me that I was gonna have to get up in front of hundreds of people and speak to them, I was like super freaked out about it. I was like, can I make somebody else do it? I was like, even to the wire, I was still trying to figure out how to get out of doing it. I've also never read from a teleprompter before, and I had to write a speech. I had to like write out what I was gonna say, and during the practice I like had a meltdown. I was like about to cry because I was like, I don't want to do this. Like, can somebody else do it, you know? But they felt like it would be weird for someone else to go up and like represent all of my work, you know, and I got that. But either way, I made it. I survived. People say I did great, okay? I survived. And I didn't throw up in front of hundreds of people. So that was really like a huge like trial challenge that I also like got through, you know. So you're seeing me like on the other side of this big ass moment, and I'm thankful that people also like were believing in me, you know. I don't want to skip over this. Some of you know that at the beginning of the year I was trying to do the 12-week year like planning, you know, and then life really started turning me every which way but loose. And now I like am feeling a little funny because I haven't done it since Q1. Like I haven't done any of the things I was trying to do since Q1, but I decided that I might end up having to like film it just so it happens because we're right at the beginning. Like July is the beginning of Q3, right? And this is my opportunity to actually try to like get back on the ball. So we're gonna be doing that soon. I think we're gonna be doing it. You and I, to make sure that I do it. Accountability. It's always a bit tough when life starts to life a little bit. Holding on to the promises that you're trying to make to yourself. I give myself a lot of grace because I've been whooping ass. So there's that. Okay, so for the beauty section, I think I'm just gonna record the items and lay them over top of this because I don't feel like getting up. I'm kind of, you know, I'm kind of busy. But I started using the Milani Cosmetics foundation, the concealer 2-in-1, the 2-in-1 concealer foundation, I don't know, whatever, because there's this girl on TikTok, she does makeup in Philly, her name is Joelle, and she had did a video on like good foundations for this time of year, like summer, and that was on the list, and it was also the most affordable, I think, on the list. Although there's that Urban Decay one too. I really want to try to go find that at some point, the Urban Decay concealer foundation, because I did hear that it was really good and good for hot weather. However, the Milani one actually works very well too. I put it on and went outside and did my thing, and I think you know, there was a little bit of like shine or whatever, but it looked really natural and really kind of beautiful. So I'm really glad that I gave that product a shot. I also had bought like a mini set from Pat McGrath, and that was a little bit of a hit and miss because it looked darker. Ooh, yeah. It looked darker on the website than it ended up actually being. So really I've been just using like the glosses. The blush is kind of a miss from my complexion, but I didn't throw it away. I might maybe use it as eyeshadow or something like that. I'm gonna throw it away, too much money. The other thing I saw on TikTok recently was this girl basically talking about how she does what's called the flip over method, where she basically installs her sew-in or her quick weave like all the way like up to the front, and like she just leaves her edges out a little bit, and then she just like takes the edges and like, you know, covers up the rest. It looks so seamless basically for the really busy girls. And so I got me some bundles, some like little wavy bundles that I'm hoping will be enough because they look kind of thin, and so I got like 5 bundles, and I'm gonna try that next. That's actually my next hairstyle. I'm gonna do a sew-in. I think it'll be really cute, but also like I haven't done a sew-in in literally years on myself or anyone else, and so I mean, sometimes you gotta make sure your knives are still sharp, okay? Make sure those knives are still sharp, because you never know, I might have to get back in the salon or something. I'm not going back. I ain't going back. But yeah, that's what I decided is next. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe we'll do it together. You guys want to do a sew-in with me? I'll talk trash or something while we sew my hair in. I don't know. We'll see. If I can think of something to talk about, maybe. Oof. Oh my goodness. Sheesh. Oh, also I was just saying that like I had saw this video of Iman, you know, the model, talking about her life with David Bowie, which I never knew that they were married or married that long. They were married for 20 years before he passed away, and the only reason they're not together is because he passed away, you know. And I really like David Bowie. I just thought that was really interesting. But her hair in the video I was really looking at, and I was like, ideally if I put this hair in and like brush it out after it's put in, hopefully it'll look something like that. So, you know, stay tuned or whatever. Let's chat about music. Okay, I have been listening to a lot of music this month. I really just love to revisit old albums. Sometimes really old albums, like stuff from the 80s or whatever. Sometimes maybe it's something from the 90s. Sometimes it's just from the late 2000s or whatever, you know? Something I like maybe was playing the hell out of at some point, whatever. And this month it was The Drums, this band called The Drums. And I discovered The Drums in 2010 when I was working my first job at Forever 21. Working in the mall, working at Forever 21, being miserable as hell. Some of the music that they played in that store, even when I was in the bathroom crying, you know, like really got me through the hard times. And they always were playing the drums. I don't even know how that happened, but it's a thing that happens with me sometimes, is that I'll hear somebody say something and it'll bring me back to a song, and then I'll be like, oh snap, I haven't heard that song in so long. And then I'll like backtrack even further, like, oh snap, I actually haven't listened to this album in so long. And that's kind of how that happened, in the middle of the night while I was in New York, because the convention was in New York, and I just started listening to all of my favorite songs from the drums, and I kind of haven't stopped. So now my list of repeat songs now include the drums. I'm not mad at it. Just to keep in mind, the repeats playlist doesn't refresh. I think it like refreshed like maybe once a week or something like that. I haven't quite figured out how this algorithm works. So there's songs on here that I might not be like railing into the wall necessarily, but like I haven't stopped listening to them. I don't know. Anyway, not sure how that works. I said during the last video last month that Willow Smith had an album out called Empathogen, and that I would come back and give my notes after I listened to it, and I did, and I'm glad I listened to that album. Woo! Big chunk of edges just came out, child. Woo! R.I.P. to my edges. Oh gosh. R.I.P. to this damn battery too. Camera battery dying. Okay, I had to change the battery, but I'm back. I think I was talking about Empathogen from Willow Smith. I'm really glad that I took the time to listen to the album, because it was very good. And you know what, also actually, while we're on the Willow Smith thing, okay, so me and my cousin were just having this whole conversation the other day, because Chloe Bailey had like kind of said this thing recently about how because she is a black woman, that like all of her music is categorized as R&B music, or that she is categorized as an R&B singer because she's black. And my cousin had really strong feelings about this. Okay, so she was saying like that SZA said it first, right? She kind of feels like, well, SZA, you are an R&B singer. Where actually I don't view SZA as an R&B singer at all. Or not at all, but like maybe she's like R&B, like indie R&B, or like alternative R&B or something. You know what I mean? But I really didn't think about her as an R&B artist. I understand why Chloe and Halle would get thrown in that category, although really they need to stop playing and just do opera music. Okay, angels from the gods, period. But I think it's really interesting because somebody like Willow Smith, nobody's thinking about Willow as an R&B artist, and she's a black woman, right? So like, it's really interesting that people can't like hear themselves and acknowledge when they're doing a thing. Like at this point, Chloe Bailey, except for like that song she just put out more recently, it's like a rock song or something. But other than that, a lot of the music is giving R&B. A lot of the covers you do are giving R&B. Why wouldn't we think you weren't, like, what would make us think you weren't an R&B girly? I also listened to the Coi Leray album that came out too. I'm not like a big Coi Leray fan. However, I was like, you know what, let me give it a listen. And it was also very good. It seems like maybe her people are taking her in a different direction than like the rap girly lane, because this was definitely giving like bubblegum, like pop kind of, she could hang out with Coco and Claire type energy. So it'll be interesting to see like her path at this point, because she's very clearly going in a different direction. But I didn't hate it. I really liked the album. It was short though. I think it's an EP. I moved a little book section in here just so I could talk about books. I think last month I was saying that I had started reading Harry Potter, not finished. Obviously, like I said, life started lifing on me. However, I also had gotten my hands on A Court of Thorn and Roses, just because a lot of people were saying that the books were really good, blah blah blah. and I thought maybe that could be something I could read. And then I somehow ended up bumping into, not a spoiler, but somebody basically saying like, oh, the first book is ass, and it's really slow, but then the rest of the series really picks up, blah blah blah. And so I was like, okay, well, in that case then, even though I bought the book, I have the physical book, I was like, let me just try to listen to some of it on Spotify, to see if I even really want to get involved. Yeah. And so that's what I did. And now I'm like, I don't know, 15 chapters in right now, and it's good. I think if I had tried to sit down and read it, I would have lost interest for sure, because it's not, I didn't know it would be what it is. And that's the thing too, is that I think it's really healthy for me to try to intentionally read fictional books, because for a long time, me being someone who doesn't have a college degree, I used to feel really self-conscious about that, and I would only buy nonfiction, oh my god, maybe I do need to read some shit, I can't even talk, but like, if I couldn't learn from it, I wasn't buying it, right? And so a lot of my books are very serious, political books, stuff like that. I think it's actually very healthy for me to stretch my imagination just a little bit, by reading fiction. So far so good on that, and I'm gonna keep listening to it, because that's just what I have mental capacity to do right now. I'm not sure if I mentioned that I was watching Bridgerton. I haven't finished the last 4 episodes. I can't bring myself to watch it because then it'll be over. But also I feel like I should hurry up and watch it before all the spoilers and think pieces come out, because that has already started. All the think pieces have started to come out. But at some point I will wrap myself back up and finish that. I watched Queen Charlotte and finished Queen Charlotte, which is kind of like a prequel to Bridgerton, and I thought that was amazing. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was sad. There's a lot of things. Okay, so also I think I'm grateful for it, because I had a lot of questions when I first watched the when I first watched the first season of Bridgerton, wondering how race was going to play into things. Was race even going to be important? And it was really hard to figure that out in the first season. But watching Queen Charlotte, it became obvious to me that, okay, there was a reckoning and a grappling with race that they had dealt with years and years prior. So that was actually very helpful. You know, it's always weird when you like watch something with a mixed cast, mixed race cast, you know, trying to figure out, okay, does race matter in this context or not? And it's like always really awkward when that's not addressed. Stars has been begging me to come back since I cut them loose a couple months back. I think they offered me like 2 months for 50 cents or whatever to come back and watch, finish watching Power Book 2 with Tariq. And it's so weird because every time I watch the show, because I've been watching Power since the beginning, and so like Tariq was just like a little kid, and now he's just like this little kid running around with guns, even though he's like a man, but it feels like he's like a little kid running around with a gun, you know? Sometimes I can't do it, but I was like, you know, let me go ahead and come back and finish it, because I'm pretty sure they said this is it for the series. So I think I need to see it through, my boy. Gotta see it through, my boy. See how it ends. I don't know what the girls are up to these days, what they're talking about, so I don't have anything to share or to talk about for the pop culture chatter or like the trends and internet memes. I've been really out of the loop this month. So if there's anything like specific that you thought I was going to address in this video, definitely let me know. Maybe I can come back and we can chat about it. But I can't think of anything necessarily that could go in this category. Now let's get into the tea on me. Girl, Kamala's boys almost got me. The Secret Service almost got me. I wish I was making this shit up. Okay, so the vice president of these United States came to do like a little speech at our convention, and I had a box for a raffle. We were gonna like raffle off some iPads. And the guy was like, White House says no raffle, right? And I was like, oh, okay, okay, that's fine, I will leave, right? And so I turn around and I have this box in my hand, and then this other guy started freaking out, and like literally before I could even blink, they were touching me, they were touching me, they were touching me, and I was so scared. I was so scared. And I was like, if y'all just move out the way, I will leave. Like, you don't have to touch me. I was so scared. They was moving so quick. It was crazy. It was really crazy. Now I have a story for dinner parties. Or like for 2 truths and a lie. But yeah, that shit is wild. Anywho. Also, you know, not even anywho. I think Kamala got a flip over method sewing too, because I was looking at her shit and she don't even have a part. Like you could see where the hair kind of broke, but it wasn't like a part, right? And then I was like looking up in her edges and I was like, it looked, I don't know if it was really, if it was giving Africa a little bit. I wasn't sure, but I was like, oh. And then my friend said she shook her hand and it like shook a little bit. So I was like, oh, okay. All right. It was a little extra bouncy, you know. It's summertime and she still got her shit like laid to the side. I was like, ain't no silk press in the world standing up to this weather. Okay, now back to my love life. My lack thereof, right? I was kind of working on something, but that got canceled. That got canceled fast as hell, and I can't even give y'all all the details, unfortunately. But what I will say is, would you knowingly, especially if you know, ain't had nothing else better to do, would you knowingly go for a ride on the village bicycle? Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. I found out some stuff, okay? And I was like, I can't go out like this. A bitch gotta have pride, child. I wish I didn't. I wish I did. I really wish I ain't had no damn pride, no self-esteem or something. All right, I've said too much. I've said too much at this point. Anyway, like I said earlier, this was gonna be like a really short video, but I wanted to do it anyway, because this whole month just like slipped through my fingers and I didn't make any content. I tried, but I didn't, and that's the whole thing. It's like, I be recording. It's the part where I have to sit and like edit the stuff and put it together that ends up not happening, and then the videos, the footage never sees the light of day. I have so much footage of just stuff that just like will never see the light of day because I just didn't have capacity to sit and edit. You know what I mean? Because I can talk like this all the time and take you with me when I'm doing things, but then at some point it's like you have to sit down and like process that footage, and I just haven't had time to do it. It's been rough, but we always persist. Anyway, I'm gonna finish sitting here and taking my hair out. Maybe I'll go sit in the AC, actually, go in my room. But I'm glad that we were able to catch up, even if it was just like a little bit. Yeah. If you made it this far in the video, how are you? How was your June? How was the month? Okay. Answer that question for me. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.